I knew there was something I was looking for, and I didn't know what it looked like. My last year in college, I felt kind of desperate. I had a Bible that my parents had given me, collecting dust on the shelf, got it down, opened it up, and I said, God, I really need to know. I really want to know if you're real. People say that they do this, but I looked down to where I opened it up, and it was the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. And the entire chapter talks about heroes of faith. And it was like I felt and I sensed in my spirit God speaking to me, you need to step out. You need to step out in faith, and I will show you who I am. I graduated from college, became a high school drama director and speech teacher. 1 year after I started teaching, my parents went to India on a short-term missions trip. They still didn't think that my life looked like a Christian life was supposed to look, and it didn't. But I knew that I was walking toward Jesus, whatever that meant. I decided to go to India more for the experience, I think, than what it would do for me spiritually. I stayed in a little guest house. I taught English to seminary students, and I just volunteered for 6 weeks. It was dirty, it was hot, it was small, the food was very spicy, I got really sick. All the things that would attract you. I'm not doing a travel log for India. But I was just changed by being in the middle of that. It never occurred to me that people didn't have hot and cold running water. I'm an adult. You'd think that would occur to me. I'm just so narrow in my thinking, and I go somewhere and I meet people who have this vibrance about them, though they have nothing in comparison with what I have had and what people around me view as happiness or as success. So it just rocked my world, but it made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't really know what to do with it. The day that I left India, I had this, I can't even describe it, something in my spirit that spoke into my, I believe it was the Holy Spirit saying to me, you're gonna go back. And I heard it, and I remembered it, I'm taking you back. But I just tucked it away because I didn't know what that would be. This was in 1985. And I went back, and the whole experience was so big for me that I didn't even literally know what to do with it. So I started teaching again, and I got back into my life again. I did join a church, and I got involved in a church, and I liked those people. Also got into a relationship that was not the best for me. 3 weeks from getting married, that voice came back and said, please don't do this. I have something better for you. And I knew that it was Jesus speaking to me. I didn't have a lot of experience, but I had prayed, and I had said, I want you to show me if this isn't from you. And he did, in very tangible ways for me. So I broke off that relationship, and that was the moment when I said, Jesus, I have made a mess, and I want you to be the leader, and I'll be the follower. India just started slamming me. I don't know if it was a newspaper article I read, or the next day it was meeting an Indian in the grocery store. I just felt like it was coming at me at all angles, and I thought, I think I'm supposed to go back to India now. So I started pursuing teaching there at an international school, because I thought, I'm a teacher, that's logical. But I just was open to whatever I thought God had for me. My mom had met Sunil, my husband, back in 1985. They had corresponded with each other through the years. He wrote her a letter asking her to pray for his marriage. He was looking for a wife. She began praying, and the Lord spoke to her that that wife was me. Through a series of events, God confirmed that in my heart, in Sunil's heart. And Sunil literally came to the U.S. to marry me, and we got engaged before we ever saw each other. It's a weird story, and even when I tell it, I go, I can't believe I did that, because that was so out of character for me. I was a very independent, working, single American woman with 100 pairs of shoes in her closet. And when he came to marry me and saw those shoes, he's like, you're not going to make it 10 minutes in my country. He came in August of 1989. We got married in October of 1989, and we traveled to India together in July of 1990. And I've had 4 kids over there. I will tell you that marriage has not been easy, because you marry someone you don't know. You marry someone who is from the opposite side of the planet, who thinks and processes things totally different from the way that you do. All that said, 20 years later, we totally see why God did what he did in putting us together, because we believe our marriage is actually a prototype for taking the East and the West, working together to build his kingdom in India.